Now my next technique is for getting the edge here and the edge here and not wear your fingers out all the time trying to sand that, because that's a real pain. Take a piece of sandpaper and trying to do this type of sanding for what essentially takes about an hour to do one of these wheels. It just wears your fingers and hands out. So what I've done is I take and mount your wheel onto a bolt, pretty long bolt, so you get a clearance here. I also use this for spraying. I can hold on to it. I tape this all up with painter's tape, just wrap it around so the filler doesn't get onto the threads, and I can unbolt it. So I use a fairly long one, and then after I spray the filler on there, I drill holes in the 2x4 and just sit that in there and let it dry. So I just keep that on there. So anyway, you mount that onto your wheel, onto a thread, a bolt, on a bolt. Chuck that bolt in your drill. Make sure you got a battery. And then you basically, instead of doing all the hand sanding, you basically just turn it on and put your sandpaper right there. Simple as that. And of course I shouldn't have done that on this one, because this one's all nice and clean and ready to go. But should have chucked in one I hadn't sanded yet. Anyway, that's the principle of it, right? You basically put it on there and spin it around, put your sandpaper on there. Now you don't want to go real fast, again, because you don't want to get hot. If you start feeling some heat through the sandpaper, you probably ought to back off, or even take it off and let it cool a little bit. But basically you just spin that around, and then you can do the same thing here. Basically, put your sandpaper on the edge and then spin it around. And then I do some, like I said, I do some in here. I put the sandpaper in here. Now what you also can do is roll that up to an edge like that and put it right in the corner there, and that'll help smooth that area right in there real well. And you eventually get it down to where you barely have any, if any, layer lines at all. It comes out really, really well. I'm quite pleased with that, and it's just a lot easier on your hands trying to do it that way. Now, I don't have the setup here right now, but what I basically do is I got a little platform to hold the drill on, so it's kind of like that. Then I got a trash bucket underneath here, and then that way all the dust, I don't know what you call plastic dust from sanding, it's not sawdust, but whatever, all that just kind of goes into your trash can when you got it leaning right over there. And of course you can change the direction with whatever suits you find comfortable and doing the sanding and stuff. Now it doesn't speed up the process really. By hand it takes me about an hour to do a wheel, these edges on the wheel. With the power sanding, it's still pretty close to an hour. So don't expect this, a 2-minute job and you're done. It does take quite a while. Make sure your battery's fully charged up, because it does drain it. But you get a very good result. I think anyway. I think it came out real well. I don't know how. I don't know how well you can see that compared to. Get some lighting here, I guess, where you can maybe see that versus the lighting on there, but it comes out really smooth. The one in the drill is sanded, the one on my hand is not. But anyway, it really comes out real well. So my next plan, like I said, I do 2 coats and I sand it down. So I use 400 grit sandpaper on the disc for the surface, okay? But I use about 320 when I do the hand, have the hand sandpaper and do the edges. I do 320. And then what I'm going to do is clean this up after I get it sanded. This is plastic, right? It's 3D printed plastic, so I basically take it over to my sink and wash it off. But it is also hollow. 3D printed stuff is hollow, so water will get into your wheels. Not much water, but some water will get in there. So what I do is I rinse it off real well, and then I let it set overnight before I do any more spraying. Make sure all the water drains from it and evaporates. So try to let it, make sure it's good and dry before we put another coat on. I believe what I'll probably do to finish this up is I will do, after I do the 2 coats in sand. I'll put 1 coat, and then I'll use 400 grit everywhere on the hand edges and the surface. And I'll probably go very lightly over the last one, and I'm hoping that will be the final result, make it nice and smooth and ready for painting that way. Anyway, those techniques I think work out really well. Again, it definitely, when I was doing it by hand, after doing 1 wheel, that was it. I was done for the day, and didn't feel like doing another wheel for quite a while because my fingers would be sore. Doing it this way, I could do 2 or 3 wheels a day, and not be so worn out. So I think it works real well. So again, mount it in the wheel in your drill and spin it around for the edges, and use a sanding disc for the surface, and you'll get I think a very good results. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of it, and if you try that technique, let me know if it works for you. Thanks for watching.